I want to talk about MMOs. Yeah. Ignore this little ninja. Wait, there he is next to me. That's a sprite from BDO, probably one of the best combat systems in an MMO ever. Unfortunately, attached to a Korean grind fest with 3 subs and a bunch of pay to win and no group content. All right, let's actually take a moment. I'm gonna play probably one of my favorite theme park MMO gameplay in the background here while we quickly discuss what the next successful MMO needs to do. Hi everybody, it's Qui-Gon John here, or Qui-Gon Jin if you're looking at my gaming channel, and we are going to talk about MMOs. So here's the issue. Here's the big issue. The big issue is MMOs these days are just not sustainable. They're a huge risk, more than any other game. They cost too much. They take too long. They have too much upkeep. And they get canceled all the time, sometimes 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years into development. So old fogies like me that happen to have it as their favorite genre we've lost hope like 5 years ago that the game, especially if you have a very specific game type that you like that's not a theme park MMO. So I saw a really good video by Legendary Drops, and it was post Where Winds Meet, and it was a discussion about those 4 MMO genres that just died, those 4 big MMOs that died. And I think like New World dying, and then 2 projects ending, and maybe even 3 projects ending before they were completed. Not important. Those are not important to this discussion. That's what he wanted. He went in on, and it was a great video, and I'll link it below when I find it again. But he verified something that I've been thinking for years, which is stop with the theme parks, the lobbies, the queuing up for different rides. WoW did it. It was special, and it beat every other's quote unquote MMO killer, or sorry, WoW killer, regardless of how good they were put together, similar to WildStar, although it had some issues like most of them. And so we need to cut down on cost. We need to cut down on development time, and it's okay to have a niche. Now, I started with a very niche, holy booba. I started with a very niche MMO. Technically the first, it wasn't massive, but it was a multiplayer online RPG. So 1M was Neverwinter Nights on a private server. And there was roleplay, and there was really hardcore PvP, and it felt like D&D, which was a big plus for me. Although now that I think about it, D&D is very restricting, kind of like why Larian is not going to do DLC for BG3 and go back to their own Divinity stuff, just because they didn't like the boring system of D&D. Not that they didn't do it justice, they definitely did, but it's very restricting. I digress. After that, I played my first MMO, which came out, I believe, shortly before WoW, or maybe right after, around that time, and it was called Shadowbane. Shadowbane had no quests, 1 safe zone, pure PvP, no class balancing, just a ton of freedom, terraforming, full loot PvP, city building, farming, quick leveling, and high risk versus high reward, open world, everything. You had to fight giant monsters for your subclasses, and they would drop a rune, and you could put that rune on you, and you could use up to 3. But there was no, oh, well, this class is a little too strong, so we got to weaken it. They just made so many classes and race combinations and gave you so much freedom. For example, you got attribute points and skill points as you leveled up, and you can allocate them as you want to your class and subclass. And then when you added those 3 runes, you could get more skills. And it would completely change how your character played. So why do I mention all this? Well, because that's a niche game. Not everyone wants hardcore PvP, but a big open world sandbox where there's so much freedom, there's no need for balancing, and there's no questing, really cuts down on the development time and cost. And if you can innovate within that space, something new. The reason why I'm playing WildStar is because Shadowbane was click to move, tab targeting, and god awful graphics. It was really old. But if you could take action combat, let's say that's the way you innovate, or you make something extremely atmospheric, beautiful music, big handcrafted world where there's lots of, let's say, similar to Skyrim or Tainted Grail, or what are other games where the Dark Soul newest game, I didn't play it because it's not my type of combat. I don't like the slow, purposeful combat. But God, Night Rain was the expansion for it. I'm blanking on it. You guys can make fun of me for it later. I didn't play it, but I can see when I look at the world that it's beautiful and atmospheric, and it makes people pause and look around. Maybe that's how you innovate. There are probably other ways too, new combat systems, new classes, or maybe you have PvP while having travel powers like original City of Heroes, where everyone has there's 5 or 6 different ways of traveling and you can actually do combat in it. I'm not 100% sure. This is where I'm reaching out to people that are game developers or game designers or that just have the brain for it. I would be happy with an action combat, modern graphics, Shadowbane, but not everybody would. As a matter of fact, I think they tried to do that. Same crew from Shadowbane made Crowfall, but a lot happened there too. And that's the other thing too about MMO cycles is that there are people out there that scam, and it's not really a game that's going to happen. There are people that are not scammers but misappropriate funds or misjudge how they're going to develop a game, and it just takes so long. So really cutting down on that time frame and stop trying to make the next WoW. So many games have tried it. So the two things I want to avoid, and I think we should avoid for the next big MMO in the West anyway, is the pay for convenience, triple, quadruple, penta, different types of currencies, and slowdowns that you have to slap your wallet on the desk for to get your way out of, that most Korean MMOs have. That can't happen. It's not going to succeed. It doesn't have staying power. Not here anyway. I mean, look at Lost Ark. Lost Ark had a lot going for it in the combat and the classes, but it was just absolutely awful in game design and in pay for convenience, in that you can only do so many things on your main character, and then you had to go do those same things again on 6 other characters or 5 other characters if you wanted to advance. It really felt like a job. And then also you had to pay a ton of money if you wanted to stay up with the current raids, etc. It wasn't fun. It really wasn't. I mean, the combat was kind of good and the graphics was really good, but there was nothing else to that game. It was so shallow. It was just a cash grab. At least that's how I feel about it. So that's it. It's a short video, and I just want to say that I'm calling it now. And I've thought about this for years. You go look at my old channel, Qui-Gon Jinn. It's got a couple hundred videos on it. It's old. It's 6-7 years old. I started it up before I got my last big boy job, and then I got that job and didn't have time for it. But we're back now, and gameplay will be on it. There's a couple discussions there about MMOs, quite a few. And I even then I was saying, wow, I wish I could take the combat of Black Desert and the freedom of Shadowbane and make some kind of game. Or if it's a problem where optimization is an issue, both City of Heroes and WildStar came out pretty fluid, if I remember correctly. So stylized gaming is okay. Stylized art is okay. There are things you can do. I followed this guy's video is just, but no, it's not. I followed a very cool game. I think it's Latin America, called Profane, and they're trying to be sandbox PvP. But it's a very small group of people. It's going to take them a long time to make it. I don't know if they're going to cave to pressure. I don't know how much money of their own they're putting into it. So who knows how it's going to turn out. And that's what's sad about it, is that you're hinging your bets on something that might have 1 of 5 features you wish you had. you wish your favorite MMO or your dream MMO has. Anyway, guys, that's it. I would really like to hear other ways that a sandbox, open world, no theme park, no queuing, no very little instant travel and instancing game can innovate. I think the Dune one was supposed to be something good, but it came out super buggy and the PvP was weird. People were just crashing ships into each other instead of actually doing PvP. So, I mean, clearly it's got to come out clean. It's got to come out, sounded kind of gross. It's got to come out with very few bugs, very smooth and good infrastructure and tons of player freedom for creation. Let the players create the world. Let the players continue to create the drama on the world. And if there needs to be a reset feature and triple faction, like some of the really good PvP games, the reset feature was an idea from Crowfall, then that might be it. But there's got to be other ways to innovate outside of just copying a Korean MMO and making people pay so much for convenience that after a while they just get burnt out and you cash grab it. Or copying WoW and trying to make it a WoW killer and failing, because that's what WoW clones do, is they fail. All right, man. That's it, guys. The next big MMO needs to be sandbox, clean, tons of freedom, and innovate somewhere. And I would love to discuss where that innovation can come from. Speaking of love, I love you guys. I will post the name of this video in the bio. If you ever want to check it out, it's just I wanted WildStar gameplay in the background while we were recording. And we'll be back for some more. Till next time.